Next, I think sort of interesting. IntelliCar is one of those companies which is in a very trending industry right now. It's basically creating infrastructure for EV vehicles, and yep, I think EV vehicles have been a hit in India recently. Almost 20 lakh EV sales were there in 2024, with almost I think 20% year-on-year growth, right? And IntelliCar actually has an interesting story behind it. So it was bought out by I think the OEM, which is, if I'm correct, TVS Motors in 2020, and the owners bought it back. So I think the owners bought it back, yes, and their focus was diverting, and right now they are focused on serving almost 3 lakh EVs across India. What they basically do is that they provide solutions including IoT devices and software that connect your EV batteries. And this battery could be in a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, could be chargers, and they monitor the vehicle performance and optimize energy usage. So interestingly, it has a first degree connection to something like Blue Smart, right? Let's say Blue Smart. They own a fleet of vehicles. If Blue Smart is doing good, if other companies rise like Blue Smart, which means a lot of large companies owning vehicles come into the market, and IntelliCar is able to tap into them to become their service provider, it's going to do amazing, right? So IntelliCar right now is in an industry where infrastructure lacks in India because people are buying it up, right? But you don't have something like US where every few hundred meters you have a EV charging station. So infrastructure is not there, and something like this coming into market is good because it's providing. This is not exactly what we need in terms of infrastructure, but something that's gonna increase the life of your battery, uh, optimize your performance. Something like Blue Smart might benefit from it. Companies like Blue Smart or taxis that have EV vehicles are going to benefit from this kind of startups. Um, if I look at the deals right now, India. So the startup claims to be adding 20,000 new IoT device deployment each month. And they recently got funded in April with almost $13.5 million in Series a fund led by a US asset manager, Naveen. So it's a very interesting concept. I would say that it is something that is operating in a deep tech hardware plus SaaS hybrid space. And I think the issue I see here is that it has a long sales cycle. Hardware margins might be thin if there is regular, how do I say, return of the materials. And the deployment could be complex because at the end of the day, it's a bit of more of a technical product. The service and the deployment of the product is much more technical compared to any other startup out there. So the deployment might be a bit of an issue if not done properly. And again, it always comes back to the fact that they will be dependent on large fleet deals or OEM partnerships to succeed as a startup. At least that's what I feel.
I think from my side, it's only that battery as an economy will become an interesting segment of its own within the EV universe. So a lot of startups now, even the software layer and the range anxiety which you mentioned, right? Is called the range anxiety as a EV owner. So battery as an economy will become interesting. Even the recycling part, that's also interesting. But software, other aspects of battery, that everything will revolve around battery because everything else is pretty much standard, right? Battery is the main part in the EV vehicle.
Yep.
So I expect more players to be here. The new energy policy, I'm not sure if it is already implemented. If I think there should be some attractive incentives for players to enter this market. Um, yeah, as the fleets starts aging, I think then we'll get a lot of interesting data. Currently, it's very new, right? The segment is very, very early, so we don't know. So we'll get to know more.